Welcome to the channel, and because it's starting to get more like summer, it's time to get on and get the hot tubs out. That is, if you're going to use them this year. Remember, the costs are going to be a little bit higher. I'll tell you more about how you can do a bit of cost saving later on in the video, but for now let's find what's wrong with this hot tub. What some of you may notice, compared to some of my earlier videos, we've got a different hot tub to play with. So this is a Hydrojet Palm Springs from Lay-Z-Spa. I'm going to be doing a couple of videos on this one because it has had a couple of faults. Basically got it very cheap off eBay and going to be fixing it up and getting it working. So we've got a couple of patches that we're going to apply, but you can probably tell I've already done that. We've got water in it, but we've got a problem. The pump is leaking quite badly from the bottom. Let's go and I'll show you which part of the pump is leaking. As mentioned, this is the Lay-Z-Spa Palm Springs Hydrojet, which uses this big old pump here. It's a huge bit of kit. We do have two problems with it. The first is on this here. You can probably see, if I pull it around there, it's cracked and snapped inside, so that just needs replacing. There's not a lot you can do with that, but that will leak until that is sorted. Second thing is we're getting an awful lot of water when the pump is turned on coming from this side. This is where the earth grounding point is, and underneath where all the vent holes are, we were getting loads of water coming out of here. So it's on this side of the pump, if you can look at the orientation of it, left hand side of the pump. And if you're getting the same thing, then chances are it's the same problem. So the first thing we want to do is open the pump up, and similar to most of the other ones, I've already started this to be honest, it's the set of screws around the base. Just get all of those undone, take them out. Remember, hot tub pump is unplugged, disconnected from the mains right now. Do not do this when it is plugged in. It's mains inside these devices, so it is dangerous. All of those screws are now out. What we do is gently lift the top. It does take a bit of rattling. Oh, sorry, I also forgot to say, I did take the side connector off. That's not necessary. You don't need to do that to take the top off. And remember, when you lift the lid off, be careful. Don't know if you can see it on the video there, but there is a wire. The wire is what goes up to the control panel. Now if you reach in, you'll find there's a little plug clip that you can undo. There it is there. It's our 4-wire clip. And don't forget as well, that is where the hot tub manager unit goes in. So if you want to add Wi-Fi to your hot tub, then you can find one. Just take a look at the links below and you can buy one from my store, and that will allow you to control this remotely, which is quite handy. Stops all of that end and stuff like that happening. Lift that off like so, put that to one side, and we're now at the insides of the unit, and going in closer we can see a fair bit of water is down the bottom. I can just see it. I'm not sure if the camera will be picking it up. I can see the water is down there, and looking at all of this, remember this is disconnected from the mains, this is all relatively dry. A few drips of water. I don't know if that was when I was taking things apart, but there's a few drips here, but nothing I'm too concerned about. The areas to look at for leaks are around here, and here. These are the return from the heater. Now I can see a few drips here which we can look at later. That's not ideal. We don't want too much water around this area as that's electrical, but Other than that, that's not too bad. So I think our leak is down in the pump region. The pump region is down here, and what we can do is we can lift this whole section up and we can get at it like here. Here it is, here's the pump itself, and I think that's where our problem is. So let's get it detached. This is where all the water's focused. This was soaking a minute ago, and I think that's where all of it was coming out of. So that's where we've got the problem. What we're going to do is we're going to take this off. You take it off, one screw either side, undo the O-ring, and then gently prise it out. To make it easier, I'm going to undo this pipe as well. This is brittle, this bit, and you don't want to be putting any pressure on this, otherwise it will crack and you're in a world of pain if that happens. So all we're going to do is undo this and take the pump out. So I'll do that and we'll get the pump on the bench and see what's going on. What I'm doing here is taking the pump apart. So this is what handles the water side of things. This is the filtration pump, and you take it apart as I've shown you before. This section comes out here, and you have one of these seals that fit round. Now this does feel a little compacted, so that one's not ideal. I do have another one, but that's in fairly bad condition. Might need to order a new one of those. And what I've been doing is cleaning up the rest of it as well, just using a rubber safe cleaning material, like a silicone lubricant is actually what I'm using. And in doing so, you can see what's happened. The rubber has just come undone. And this is the seal that goes up to the heater. In situ, it would be like that. That pushes up into the heater. I do actually have a spare kicking around somewhere that I can show you. This is the heater assembly. It doesn't have the heater attached to it, but the heater metal part would be along here, and that sits in the top of the hot tub like that, and the pump is underneath it, and it fits in like so, and it has to make a good seal here. Actually, this is one of the poorer parts, or one of the poorer seals I think of the whole unit, but you can see there that's barely making a seal. So I'm going to get another seal, put it onto that, and let's see if it makes a bit of better contact. I think that will have been causing us quite a bit of water loss. You can buy these seal kits. I'll put a link down the bottom to seal kits that I've used. I just don't have one handy, which is really annoying. I've got an old one here that has actually got rubber sealant on it that I used to fasten another one up. And if I try and push this in now, you can see that gets a much better seal. The one at the bottom is clearly not doing very much, but the one at the top may give us enough. I do think I need to order another one, but in the meantime, what we can do is we can put this back together. This is the impeller, and this is actually in quite decent condition. You can see there's no cracks or splits or damage or anything like that. I have various videos in the past where I've repaired these, and I'll put a link to the repaired units that you can buy. That can go on there. I'm going to clean this seal up, clean this, and let's put it back on. And now we just fit that bit back into place. Does need to stretch a little bit. It's not stretching as far as I'd like, so that's not a great seal, but it may just do enough of the job. We fit this over. Now when you put this on, what you have to make sure is that little hole there lines up, so you might need to, if you look down it, you can see it, and then just gently move it backwards and forwards until it's in place. And there we go. I'm going to put the little nuts back on and the screws and tighten them. I'll show you, you need to tighten them in sequence. You don't want to over tighten them because you don't want that to crack either. when screwing them in, go opposites at a time. One side, then the other, not to full tightness either. Remember, don't over tighten these, because you can cause this to crack. Now let's get it connected back up. This is the feed into the heater here, and that's where our bung fits into. That goes into there, that goes into here, so I find it easier to put this piece in first. It needs to go all the way to the bottom, and I'm going to wait until I tighten that. I want to put that in, and you can see it's getting a reasonable seal. Whether it'll be good enough or not, I'm not sure. We now need to put in the 2 screws that hold that. This is quite tricky to do. Actually, I got a wire caught there which didn't let it go all the way in either. I find doing this with the hot tub on its side like this seems to be the easier way of doing it. It's quite a bulky unit, these Airjets, not the easiest to work on. But the main components are all the same, at least on these units. So the seals, the pump, the heater are the same as with the egg units. Most of the parts are interchangeable. Again, don't over tighten any of the screws. They're always into these very brittle plastics, unfortunately, with the Bestway units, and you can very easily over tighten and crack, and if they do, then unfortunately there is not much you can do, because if they crack they will leak if you over tighten anything. Okay, that's on and into the heater unit. I'm going to attach, just show you the top here, I'm going to attach that pipe fitting on now. Make sure it's lined up before screwing it on. And again, not over tight. And the last thing to do is to screw this clamp back on. One last thing, do not forget the power connector for the pump. There's the transformer that you can just see the bottom of the screen, and this fits into here, and you screw the connector in, and now we can get it back the right way up. Let's give it a try. I've got it now connected up. I do have a problem on my seal down there. You can probably see the fitting is cracked, so we do have a bit of water coming out of there, which isn't ideal, but that's not the problem we're looking at today. So let me take you further down. And let's get the lid. We've got power to it. I'm going to turn the control panel on. And let's turn the filter function on. And let's see what we get. So far so good. Hopefully you can hear me over the pump. Looking in, we're getting a good flow of water, so the pump is working well. And I can't see any water coming out. Now I've left out, this is the earthing socket, I've just left that out for now, just so we can see what's going on under here a little bit easier. But that's where the leak was coming from. It was from down here originally. Now I can see a few drips of water seeping their way under the temperature sensor cover, which is this piece here, so that may also need a seal replacing. I think a full seal kit should solve this fully, but so far that's not too bad. We're certainly not losing all the water that we did originally, which is great news. It's as simple as that. There we go. We've managed to fix the leak in our pump, which is great news. Fairly straightforward, and it's a fairly simple procedure. But there you go. So that was for the Palm Springs Hydrojet. Similar on most of the Hydrojet models, to be honest, whether it's the newer or the old. This one's the older model, but it's a fairly similar procedure with all of them. You need to look for that same component. So there you go. I hope that's been of use to you. Don't forget all the links to the parts, information, things like that, I'm going to put down in the description below. Please do remember to subscribe. It helps me and the channel out so much if you subscribe. It's just a quick click on the subscribe link down there, and I'll see you in the next video.